Welcome back to Contrast Studios Live. It is your host, Patrick Coyne. Very excited about this episode today. I'm with two first responders, also known as TLC, Michael Henderson and Jason Bryce. Thank you so much, guys, for coming today. Very excited about the show. You guys excited?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So first off, the most important discussion of the day is why are you guys known as TLC?
So me and Michael, we've been working together, my whole time since I've been in the fire service, really.
And you guys are at Montgomery?
Yeah.
Okay.
So so for the past 12 years, I've worked with Michael, and every time we'd be on the ambulance together, we knew that the patients were going to get taken good care of.
Yep.
We both are just pretty compassionate people who just enjoy helping people. So, and I think it showed on the ambulance. So we kind of came up with our nickname, the TLC crew.
Yeah, so TLC stands for Tender Loving Care.
Okay.
So not everyone knows what the acronym is. They probably think of waterfalls.
TLC, like,
don't
go
chase them. Don't chase them. Yeah. We usually give those waterfalls to our patients. Just caring so much, right?
Yeah. Sometimes all you need is just it's going to be okay. So.
Yeah.
With you guys bouncing around the Montgomery community, we opened in Montgomery. That was our first location. It was a very natural, I think, organic way of you guys coming in. What drew you guys first to not even say Contrast Studios, but into the contrast training, the hot and cold?
Yeah.
Go ahead and start with that.
Kevin Hart, his
Really?
podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
That he has all those athletes on his podcast. They sit in a cold tub. So, that was something that sparked my interest. I know a lot of athletes use a cold plunge after their workouts and stuff. So it's like, if it's good enough for them, it should be good enough for us since, we're active as well. So.
Okay. Similar story?
Actually, I mean, I've kind of always kind of been into like the whole biohacking and health and fitness, and I've kind of dabbled before with the cold showers. I actually got my own little portable cold tub that I sit out in the backyard sometimes. So I knew the benefits of it. I know that every time I get in, I hate it, but I always feel good going out of it. So, and of course, who doesn't love a sauna?
Very true. What's the difference between the biggest difference you saw between your little cold tub, or it could be big, not saying, the cold tub you have at home and the cold tub of Contrast? What's the big difference there?
The cleanliness of the water.
Okay.
I mean, when you got a tub outside, you got bugs and grime and nasty stuff, whereas in Contrast, every time you go in there, it's clean. I mean, you'll never see any floaters or any skin flakes or anything like that. And it always smells good, too. It always smells good, too. So, that's definitely a benefit to it. And the fact that with my little plunge, I kind of have to get real tight and really submerge myself.
It's a lot more comfortable.
Whereas, with the Contrast ones, it's just you just kind of lay back and you can just relax and chill. And
Perfect. Do you guys hook up to the Bluetooth in the sauna? Or are you guys more of a quiet sauna person?
No, I hook up to the Bluetooth every time.
Is it a podcast? Is it a...
No, it's music.
Okay.
It's usually Latin music.
Okay.
I don't understand any of it. I don't speak it. I just like the melodies and the beats.
Absolutely.
Some reggaeton and stuff.
Okay.
And then I feel confident I can blast that music, so I'm pretty sure no one in Montgomery speaks it as well.
That's probably a
safer bet in terms of my musical tastes.
I can attest to that because just the other day, I went down, he was already working out, and I'm like, what are we listening to? I don't even know what they're saying. He's like, I don't know.
It's about catching that independent vibe. It's why I love the private studios in Contrast. I really do. It gives you your own independent vibe, the colors, the studio, the cold tub. It's amazing. But as we talk about caring for yourself with contrasting, what drew you into guys in servicing others, giving your guys lives to service? I mean, you guys are literally the front line of every time something goes wrong in that city, you guys are there. What kind of drew you guys into that life?
For me, actually, I can remember, and not everybody can, say this, but I remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And I remember thinking, wow, those firefighters are going in, they're helping people. They know it's not good, but that just the fact that they had enough courage to go in there and, a lot of them ended up dying. 343 of them ended up dying that day. So that kind of drew me like, wow, like I really want to be a servant to all where I can, make that call, hopefully never have to make that sacrifice. But, and I think there's a special feeling when you actually do get to help somebody, when we get called, a lot of times on the worst days of their lives.
Yeah.
So, to be able to go, and even if it's not doing some life-saving intervention, just to provide the TLC, the tender loving care. Sometimes that's all the people need is to know that, hey, somebody's here for you, someone's there for you. So sometimes we'll take a run that everybody else will be like, oh, whatever, this is just a BS run. This patient's complaining about something that's irrelevant or whatever. But sometimes you got to look at it differently, and you can still make a difference and impact, even on runs that aren't very severe. So.
Or exciting. Mine isn't as righteous as Jason's here. Mine's I wanted to be a Ghostbuster, and that's not a real thing. Yeah. So at least I've learned that it wasn't really a real thing. So this is the closest thing where you get to put the pack on your back, your air pack on your back, get dressed, go out, lights and sirens. But I quickly realized that we don't, and Jason's a fire marshal, so he's one of the reasons why we don't get as many fires as we used to get is because of education, just teaching the public about smoke detectors, CO alarms, stuff of that nature. So most of our job is EMS.
Okay.
And I've learned so much being in the back with a patient. Like I've had Holocaust survivors, World War II veterans, World War II veterans' wives who are the real heroes.
True.
Because when they pass, the veteran, all they had to do was work, and the wives were the ones that took care of the homestead.
Yep.
They handled all the finances. So when they pass, the veterans had to figure it all out on their own. Where if it's vice versa, the women usually do pretty well. But you learn a lot about people, and they learn a lot about us. Like Jason was saying, we don't always have to do a life-saving procedure.
Yeah.
It may just be that comfort, let them know that, hey, I'm here. A lot of it is distraction therapy, where you get people talking, and that's how I learned out about what they used to do or whatever. And that's the cool
Just get them
part
to
of the
focus on
job.
something else.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's the fun part.
Taking something from a very beautiful conversation to a less serious portion of it.
Sure.
And thank you for sharing that, is being in Montgomery, how did you guys hear about, not contrast therapy, but contrast studios? How did you guys hear about that? How did we get involved? Just curious about always how, especially first responders, have come into our building, because the fact that we can make a difference in your everyday life, like genuinely make a difference. You feel better mentally. You sleep better. Sleep is I'm not going to cuss, but it's not a fun thing when you have traumatic events and your nervous system's jacked up during the day. So with that being said, how did you find out about us in Montgomery?
So I found out about you guys probably before most people, because you guys had to submit the plans.
Oh,
so
you
I
got
knew,
it on the back end.
I'm like, ooh, this is a good thing. This is what we need.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew probably before most anybody else. And then I was there in your grand opening.
Yep.
I did a quick fire inspection to make sure you guys were set up good. And then I think I was talking to Lindsay, and that's all it took. Just,
okay, perfect.
I got my free session, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. So.
And you come a lot. You do. You're there all the time. Seeing a big difference.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great. Again, like I said, I think anybody can get in a sauna and just, it just feels so good. But going in that cold plunge, I tell you, I never want to do it.
Never.
But afterwards, when I come out, it's always like, once I get past the seizure-like activity when I'm shaking, I always feel better.
Yep.
And I think it's a good way to start your day off, and a nice little break to, give your body the good stress that it needs, because we get exposed to stress, that negative stress that kind of wears down and beats on you, and it's nice that we're able to induce our own stress and have our body respond appropriately.
Beautiful.
And I wear a Whoop watch, and I don't know if you're real familiar with that, but I've showed Michael how, like, when I go from the sauna, like, not only my heart rate, but it reads stress too.
Yeah.
It literally, from just being in, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, it literally goes from here, it just plummets, my heart rate and my stress, and then by the end of it, my heart rate.
HRV's coming all the way down.
Yeah, and it's just like, so it's like I know something, even if I didn't feel it, I know something's happening.
Factual, yeah.
So.
How about you?
Yeah, you came and spoke to our city regarding mental health stuff, and then you mentioned that you're talking about the Black Sheep Studio that you guys have, and then you talked about getting this thing set up, and got really excited when I found that out because I've been wanting to try a cold plunge, and there's not really any available that I know of.
So your first experience with the cold plunge was the contrast.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it takes your breath away.
It does.
It does. But, you sometimes, your staff will put up little Post-it notes.
You like those?
Really, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, just breathe. Something as simple as that. It's just water. Yeah,
Well,
it
it's
is
not
just
as
water.
important as what we do, but we try to, as a staff, remind you guys that it is you versus you.
Yep.
It's your own brain that's fighting those demons that are coming out. So all the stress that you endure, I really, really am glad that it's making a difference.
Yeah.
And speaking on that, on the next question or the next topic is, what's the biggest difference you've seen? Because you guys deal with real stress, life and death. I don't deal with life and death. I help prolong life. You're at the end of it. It's the last shot, right?
Sure.
Heart attack, seizure, aneurysm. It's your actions in your hands are literally dictating potentially live and progress, or something bad's going to happen. What is the biggest difference you guys have seen mentally? Obviously, the Post-it notes are great. The cold water is great. But remove the data from the conversation. What's the things you guys actually feel different? Feel versus real is a real thing. But feeling it mentally is much more important than just the data behind it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a very short drive back to my house. So when I worked at a different firehouse, I had probably an hour, to really decompress before I get home. Because the worst thing to do is to take anything that happens negatively at work and bring it home to your family.
Absolutely.
And then once you're in family mode, you kind of just, anything that's super negative, you just kind of put down in you, whatever it takes for you to kind of, bury that, negativity. And with the contrast, being in my backyard, it's easy for me to set up the appointments, but it gives me that chance to turn on my music in the sauna, decompress, get in that cold plunge, really decompress, because I'm not really thinking about anything except, man, it's 5 minutes almost up.
It's been 10 seconds. I want to get out.
Like, I feel like someone else needs to be coming in here.
Yeah.
It's like sooner than this 3 to 5. But it's just that decompress that I didn't have, being so close to work now. So it's nice to have that, that relaxation.
Have you seen any of the negative activities you tried to fill with that stress be removed from your life by plunging?
Never really had negative activities.
Or detrimental, rather, right?
Sure.
Like a vice.
Yeah, no, I don't usually have vices. You try not to have vices. Some people use, drink alcohol or something like that. Maybe take a shot, if they had, someone pass away or something like that. I try not to do that because, I got to get home to make my wife and my son breakfast before they go to work and school.
Yeah.
So, but they've seen changes in me just
Really?
being a lot more happier. Okay. I don't know, it could be the violet or the indigo lighting in there.
Yeah.
It may not be, I don't know.
I still don't understand that. Just pick whatever color for me.
Yeah.
It's very independent to each person what chromotherapy they would like. There's studies behind each color that has a different effect on the body. And as I think is what you believe is what actually happens in reality. So the placebo effect, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Soldiers in World War II weren't getting morphine, they were getting saline.
Right.
They still got amputated, they still got out, and they had no pain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a placebo, but if you don't believe in it,
what you make
it's not going to work, right? But
Yeah.
if you do believe in the chromotherapy, just like the plunge in the sauna, it will work and add value. What about you, mentally?
You said mind over matter, and I just made me think of the cold plunge. Yeah, if you don't mind the pain, then it don't matter, right?
Exactly.
I think it's just taking care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like we both work out, we both, eat fairly healthy, and I think that helps mental health.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that taking the time to, take care of yourself in the means of relaxing in the sauna. He likes to listen to music. That's my time to meditate or do some breath work or just to still my mind, because at that moment, it's just me. There's no distractions. I got nice peaceful music playing in the background that, from the studio. So for me, it's a time that I know that I'm taking care of myself, and I know that, it's helping to combat some stress and some temporary, if you go through, a hard day at work, or if you're going through something at home, with family, because that can be stressful as well.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just nice to just relax and know that you're taking care of yourself, I guess. That's kind of the big benefit for me, is knowing that I'm taking care of myself. It's like working out. I know when I work out, even if I don't want to, I know I'm taking care of myself. And that in turn makes me feel better. It makes me feel like,
Absolutely.
I'm doing what I need to do, to be the person I want to be. So.
And I think it's important that you guys, and I will not compare myself to you guys at all, but people that take on other people's problems and fix them, right? I do it at a very minuscule level compared to you guys. But a lot of what we do, we give it to everyone else and we don't give it to ourselves, which is a huge hypocritical problem when you're telling someone to take care of themselves and then in your head you're like, wait, I haven't done any of this lately. And I think as men, a lot of us, like my thing is, okay, if I'm upset or pissed off about something, load up 500 pounds on a sled and push it. Well, I might have just stressed my body so much that I screwed myself for the back half of the day. Now I get home, now I got no energy for my son and my wife.
Yep.
I like you guys to comment on it, but I really enjoy the passive side of contrast, that I'm getting as stressful, but I'm not doing anything. Now I am sitting in cold and sitting in the sauna, but at the same, I'm relaxing, not doing more.
Yep.
Right? Not emptying my tank even more and even more. And by the end of the day, it's like, man, that 600 pound back squat made me feel good in the moment, but I can't even see straight. My eyes are crossed.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a really important thing. I'm glad you guys like the passive part of it. And leading into the next topic is, I think it's important to talk about the mental side. And for me and you guys, I think that's what we grasp onto each other. I think it's more important than the physical, because I can push through soreness. I really can. But depression, anxiety, when those start to mount up, it's insurmountable. You're not going to do anything with it. So on the physical side of it, you guys work an extremely demanding job. How much does the equipment weigh you guys wear every day when you
It's
go out?
around 50 pounds.
Around 50 pounds, but 50 pounds every single day, all day, spinal compression, all the weight around you, the heat, the stress on top of it, it's physically demanding. What have you seen physically that have kind of dropped down or subsided in some of the effects? Is it soreness? Is it overall capacity? What have you seen physically be a big difference and change?
I think just like overall recovery time, I think that helps, but I also think it's, the improved sleep also helps recovery too. So I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, because I'm sleeping better, I'm able to recover better, and because like I know the data on my watch is telling me that my stress level is plummeting. I know that obviously when we're in fight or flight all day, when we're stepping on the gas all day, and then we're just stressed out, like you said. I mean, there's some days you get home and you're just like, I didn't really do anything out of the ordinary, but I feel like I've just been completely shot. Yeah. And I think that the days that, we make it in there, I don't feel as tired. And like Mike said, like, being able to spend time with the family. I mean, my schedule is different now for my role than his. So I went from the 24-hour shifts to now I'm on Monday through Friday. So I'm lucky enough that I get to be home with my family every night. Yeah. So for me, it's super important that when I get home, that I have enough energy and I'm not just so drained that I can spend time with my girls.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that means more to me than anything. And that helps my mental health too, because then it's like
you
the
don't feel
stresses
guilty
from the
going
day.
back to work, right?
Absolutely.
That guilt kills me sometimes. And if I don't have a good night at home and I'm too exhausted the next day, I feel really guilty when that 4:30, 5 o'clock alarm goes off. I'm like, I didn't give them what I needed to, right? And that'll wear on me longer than a 500-pound workout or whatever it is. What about you physically?
Yeah, physically, as you were saying, the recovery time I feel is a lot quicker. And it's probably because the muscles aren't, being worked super hard. It gives it the time to get shot the system and relax. I don't know the science behind it at all, but I just know that I can, go in that morning, because I go early in the morning when I get off shift, and then I can go bust out a workout right after. Do a 3-mile walk or something like that around the neighborhood. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Just, it's nice knowing that that's there. And then that next morning I'll come in and do a recovery. And then the day after I might go in again early at 5:40 or 6 o'clock in the morning before I go into shift.
That's a good pre-coffee workout.
And it is, because I get that, it's almost like a workout before your shift starts sometimes.
Those endorphins and dopamine before work is so important.
Yeah, because then you get your mind firing, and then I'm ready to start the day when we get that first run. So that run at 7:01 that maybe I wasn't quite ready for before, I'm ready for it now because I've already been processed and ready to go. So.
When that call hits, the bell rings, right? It goes crazy. Is it a siren inside the firehouse?
Depends where you're at. Parts of the department, it's a siren. In the in our Bay Area where the trucks are. It's the bell.
Have you seen, so when you get a call, it's from 0 to 100, right? There's no thinking. You could be flat on your back asleep, bell goes off, you're up.
Yep.
So when we're working with the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, that's what we're actually training in those tubs, right? Have you seen and this is a very open question, but have you seen a drop almost in like the cortisol, your heart rate spike if you plunge before and get that bell versus if you don't? It's getting deep into it.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's the same, everything
probably
could go wrong.
Yeah,
but
you don't. When the bell rings, and you're not really thinking about anything else except for where are we going,
training kicks
and
in,
what it is. Yeah, it's muscle memory.
Exactly.
Just like going into the water, my muscles know that it's coming.
Yeah.
You know, at that 24-minute mark in the sauna, it's like, all right, we're almost there. Like now, I gotta get myself prepared and go plunge. And am I gonna dip my head in today or not? If I'm going to fully submerge, but usually I use that at that last minute.
That's what
I'll flip over and then I'll fully submerge.
You flip over on your stomach?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, because if I go underneath on my back, then I'm going to suck in a bunch of water.
I've never heard of that. All right, I guess I'm trying something new. I'm getting on my stomach today.
Yeah, I just go on all fours.
And go under?
No. I flip over in the water. I'm on all fours in the water, and then I duck my head in. And I hold my breath as long as I can. It takes your breath away.
No, I swear to God,
give it a shot.
Okay. I didn't know there was 2 ways to do that. I never would have thought about. All right.
Well, after doing it so many times on my back,
Yeah.
And leaning back and getting the water up my nose or whatever, and it's like, nah,
not as comfortable.
Let's go ahead and flip on all fours and see what that's all about. And that's what I've been doing. So.
Okay. Well, if you guys have someone new at the fire department, someone new comes in, if you call them a rookie or a freshman or whatever, they come to you guys as the veterans and say, okay, sorry, everything I do is locker room talk. But
sure, you're right.
They come to you guys and go, okay, I want to try contrast. I'm very interested in it. I'm a young guy. I want to get into it. I want to help my nervous system from a young age. I want to balance stress and recovery, blah, 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 optimization. What would some of the things you would tell him why you need to try it? What would you tell someone new getting ready to try Contrast Studios?
Well, I'd say, first of all, I'm sure you guys still do it, but the first session's free.
Yep.
So literally, what do you have to lose?
Exactly.
And I would just stress the importance of, the stress with our jobs. We need to really maintain control. If we can control some stress that we are experiencing and be able to train our nervous system and our bodies to respond better during emergencies, then over time, the longevity of our careers, I think, could potentially benefit.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely something that you may not want to do, but seeing is believing, and if you just try it the one time, you pretty much. I would think that most people feel pretty good after the first plunge, and they walk out of there feeling like, wow, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and that was actually it was refreshing.
Yeah. On the other side of fear is bliss, right? Like it's right on the other side.
You got to take
right on the other side.
Step across that line, and the fear of the unknown is scary sometimes, and cold water's scary.
It is
because it's cold.
But the beautiful thing is humans need variability, and humans also need inconsistencies both to be happy. So the variability of I might feel good today, I might feel good today, I might feel bad today, but the certainty of the water's going to be clean, the sauna's going to be at the right temperature, it takes a lot off. So
absolutely.
Hitting to those human needs.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it too much.
What about you?
What
would you tell someone new that wants to try Contrast? Whether that's a friend, family member, wife, whatever.
No, young or old. Because I think it's benefits for both, especially if the older I'm getting, the more things hurt. Workouts hurt a lot more. So with the all the arthritis and stuff like that, like I said, my joints don't feel as bad.
Yeah.
So even though we're talking about young guys, older guys, it's great because you give those muscles and everything else a little bit of a release. It shocks the system. Young guys, I grew up on the west side. I went to a Catholic high school.
Did you go to Eldon?
No, I was too smart for that. I went to LaSalle.
Ooh.
But so we all have.
I heard west side. I went right to Eldon,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
he's
right
proud.
side of town.
He's proud.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I made it out.
I was a Lancer for a little bit.
Were you?
Yeah,
oh,
2
yeah.
years. Yeah.
Okay, fair play. Yeah, I made
Now
all
you done.
4. It's different.
Is there anything else before we close it out that you guys would like to touch on or talk about? What it's done for you? what it could do potentially for someone, or just, I mean, even sometimes anything that we can continue to add value to that we're not thinking about. Is there anything that you guys want to add to this?
I mean, every time I walk in there, whoever's there always greets me by my name, and there's something about hearing your own name that's just refreshing, and it's nice. It's like, oh, they take the time to know my name, and I think you've mentioned that as well too. It's nice we're not just a number coming in like, oh, okay, oh, hey, Jason. It's like, no, like, oh, hey, Jason, how you doing? They're asking like, if, how was your weekend, stuff like that. And I think that really brings some comfort too, in knowing that, like, okay, well, it's a good experience from the moment you walk in the door to the moment you leave. So, and I think you guys are doing a great job. You hire great people. I've yet to see one that's a turd. That's what we like to call them. But
That's what you call them.
Well,
you call them turds.
I can't help it. That's in my book. It's what I say.
It's all good. I get the premise.
So no. I mean, yeah, I think that's I think anybody who's thinking about trying it should. I mean, what do you got to lose?
Yeah. Agreed.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like I said, the staff, it's fantastic. I taught one of your members CPR, not that long ago. So for her coaching.
Okay.
So, anything to help each other out. Obviously if we were just walking in there and they're not saying anything, we wouldn't have sparked up any type of conversation.
Agreed.
They wouldn't know what I did. I wouldn't know, stuff about them. It's kind of like that Chick-fil-A aspect. It's
community driven, right?
It is.
It's community driven.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it definitely, gets you already, as soon as you walk through the door, you're in that right mindset already, just having that little interaction. And then, sometimes I might be going over my time because we're yapping too much.
Yeah, he likes to talk.
It's like,
okay.
I'm a talker, so it's like, all right, come on now. I only got 30 minutes. Time's ticking. They can't go longer.
Do you guys love the smell of contrast?
The smell?
Yeah, the smell. That
I
hotel
love the smell of the
collection.
water. I don't know what the exact smell is, but like I always love sniffing the water.
Yeah, it's weird. Weird.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
So today, whenever the next time I go in, today or tomorrow, I have to make sure I plunge face down
and sniff the water.
and I sniff the water.
Well, you don't have to sniff the water.
All right.
That's your choice.
I noticed
guess.
that you guys gave out some candles around Christmas time, and thank you for that. And the second I lit it, I'm like, that's that smell.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. So now I
it.
just smell contrast all over my house now.
I love it.
So
I love
I'm
it.
like,
What's
it's just
wild
weird.
is if you're around an employee, so some of the employees come to the gym, and when they come in, I literally can smell from the front door. It's in the clothes, which is incredible. So
and it's a very nice smell too. It's not. It's better than
Soothing smell.
And you don't walk into saunas. You don't like, ooh, that smells the last person's BO either. I mean, I've never had a bad smell in there unless I fart.
No.
So
we enjoy trying to keep the funk out of there.
Here's the firefighter.
We really do. Thank you guys so much for today.
Yeah,
it means
no
a lot to
problem.
me. Continue to enjoy contrast, and thank you guys for sitting down. Next time we'll do it around a beer.
All right.
all right.
Sounds good.